you're a senior or a beginner who really wants to improve your skills and you feel like your drawings are looking too tight and they're lacking of a expression, feeling, then please watch this video. I'm going to show you how we can change all of that by simply changing the way you look at things. And we first are going to start with one word. Replace drawing for the word sketching. Sketch or sketching is like creating a map where we first crudely place lines and shapes. And these initial marks are temporary. They can be moved, they can be erased, they can be lightened up or darkened up. So that's why it's important to start very light at first, because that's what we want to be able to accomplish. We want to be able to move things around the paper. We don't want things permanent right away. And this is just an experimental stage. That's when we are just really trying to arrange our composition. And after in this stage, doesn't make sense to a lot of people, but it makes sense to us because we can see where the loose lines and shapes are and what that means to our composition. We have it right here. So you don't have to worry about making mistakes. There are no mistakes at this stage because there is no need for accurate lines, accurate angles. Just concentrate in the darkest tone and just start drawing. You just need to remember to stay loose, meaning make your lines very loose and light. This way you don't have to worry too much about erasing, because if you start light, most of the time those lines are going to disappear as you start adding darker lines on top. So there's no need to erase. So before we go to the drawing board, I want to remind you to look under the descriptions in this video of a free drawing lesson that I have made just for you. And in this drawing lesson, you will help how to start very simple, finding the very simple lines and shapes, and from then on we build. Because I know often at the beginning, if you're new, it's very kind of confusing. How do we start arranging all of the things in a page? So this is how we do it. And after you sign up for this lesson, you will receive a welcome email and your lesson. But just in case if you don't find it, please check your spam folder, because often they tend to go there, unfortunately. So now that you know that, and I hope you're going to get this lesson because I know it's going to help you out, let's go to the drawing board. Okay, so today we're going to, like I said, we're going to sketch this snow-covered creek. This was a sketch that I made a while back while we lived in the country in Indiana. That's what it was. So I always like to start first my sketches with a nice frame. That way we know exactly where we're dealing with, where things are going to go inside. And the main thing, like I was saying before here, just think about it as a sketch, which it is a sketch. It's not like we just have to think about it, it is. So first thing we have to do is figure out how we're going to fit everything in this piece of paper, and we're going to start with the horizon. The horizon is going to be just a little bit above, in one side, above the mid distance, okay, here, and we're going to make a little line there, and it's going to end up about somewhere in here, because it wasn't a flat surface. It was kind of like a little bit of a hill. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to add some mid-tone to it, and the mid-tone we're going to add, they're just going to be just we're just going to add a little bit of charcoal, and we're using soft charcoal for this, and this is going to be kind of like the background. So I said that's about right, and what I like to do, I like to use my finger most of the time to blend all of this, just to create really light tone to it. It is the fastest way of creating, of blending, really. So once then we have that established, that is kind of like our horizon line. And from here we're going to have a creek that's going to come from here. We're going to see just a little bit of it, almost disappears here and then comes back here. Okay, and as you can see, I'm being very loose with marks. I'm not really being very careful. It's just to give me a suggestion. Like I said, we're creating it's almost like a road map. And now it's time to add trees. I know here the distance was this nice little tree. It's kind of like a little bit far away, so we're not going to see a lot of details. These are like little young sycamore trees. So they have these beautiful branches going all over the place. About there. We're going to have a main tree that's going to go right about here. And what we're going to do, here is where we concentrate on the dark first. Concentrate on the shadow areas first. And then we worry about the rest. So this is going to be our main tree right here. It's going to go to about there, like this, like that. And what we're going to do here is to make it a little bit different. We're going to define this edge because the sun is coming from this direction like this, okay? So in order to do that, we have to darken this side first. So I'm going to put a little mark all the way down here of a shadow. And in this side, we had another tree that was kind of like hiding, it was behind this one. So with the tree trunk or the tree behind it, we're going to define the tree in the foreground. You see the light area of the tree in the foreground, like that. We have some shade there. And here we're going to, since it was like, I remember it's a slope, it's going to come down here. So this line will be something like that, just to show that we're on a slope. And from here we're going to create the other part of the tree that goes all the way here, sort of like that. Okay, so it's pretty nice because it serves us to give shape to the tree in the foreground. And here when this tree has branches, a little bit thicker branch, they go there. We're going to see another one, and right here we're going to see another tree that was very close to it. And this is kind of nice because it's going to help us frame our composition. So also we're going to draw the shadow side of this tree, okay, like this. And it's going to come down also in an angle a little bit. Okay, and of course this tree we're going to also put them in an angle, at an angle like that. So that's pretty much really our composition. So now our job is to maybe start creating, developing the creek a little bit more. So with it, you see that my charcoal, you see it has a tip, so I can use it for light, very thin lines like this, or I can put it on the side and create, thick marks like this if I need to. So it's nice to have always to have a nice sharp tip to it. And here we're just going to start making the creek as it's coming towards us is getting wider. And remember, this was a snow-covered creek, so it's not going to have it's not going to be like the banks are not going to be like they are, when it's not covered by snow. So we're going to start creating a little bit of mid-tone here because some of these areas will be kind of like not getting a straight light, sunlight. So they're going to be a little bit on the gray side. And that's exactly what I'm doing here also. It's going to be a little bit of a shadowy snow like that. And behind here we're going to have all kinds of trees growing, so we're just going to draw some dark tones. Same thing here, we see some other trees growing, and they create, we just create some markings. This is, you're looking into the woods here, so you're pretty much going to see just random shapes and markings. And at this time, if it's winter time, you're just going to see mostly tree trunks, and just maybe some shrubs there laying low, and that's about it. So there you go. So then again, what I'm going to do here, oops, I forgot to go over this. There. Once that we have the shapes of the trees that we want to have. Okay, remember this is going to be a shadow, and these trees are, of course, the tree trunks are rounded. So I'm going to go very light with my finger over these lines and just create the illusion of being rounded. You see, it really takes very little to create all of this. And I'm going to darken this a little bit more, giving it more tone to the paper, and we can redraw all of this again, of course, whatever we lose when we apply tone. We don't really have to worry much about that, like that. Okay, there. And of course it's going to have shadows running up like that. Okay, so now that we have that, what I'm going to do, I'm going to get a charcoal pencil, and I'm going to get a soft charcoal pencil, and here I'm going to start defining my trees a little bit better. Like for instance this one in the foreground, the charcoal pencil is not as soft, even though this is a soft charcoal pencil, it's not as soft as the vine charcoal like the one I was using. So it's going to be a little more permanent. So it's great to make this kind of markings like this. Then they're not going to erase as easy as the soft charcoal does. But the beauty about the soft charcoal is that when you do this with the soft charcoal, you can start creating those midtones. That is so nice. Whereas with this pencil, it will be a lot more difficult to create the midtones. Okay, so there, maybe this trees in the background, I want to be right there. This one here had a branch that goes straight up like this, and I had this tree that is right behind. It's going to have also see, that's what's beautiful about having this composition, because the tree in the background kind of helps shape the tree in the foreground, which is kind of nice. And we're going to see some lines going like this sideways in different directions. Also the shadows on the snow, we're going to see more of them. And here we're going to make this a little more permanent, like this. And you see, we're just creating shapes, really. That's all we're doing, just creating shapes. And in the woods, there's our tree that we lost before. We can bring it back. You see how easy we can do this, and how easy and loose. Remember, sketch, remember that. If you say the word sketch, you think about loose right away. One thing I like to do is find my eraser. Now that I found my eraser, I'm going to add some highlights here. For instance, this branch of course was behind the tree in front here, so I'm going to erase it there. And we have the shape of this tree. This one's going to be bright in some area, not all over, just where it's getting the sunlight. Same thing here. This tree is going to have, since the snow cover, is going to have a little bit of snow on top of these branches. So we're going to add just a white here and there, just to show that there's a snow. This bank is going to be kind of bright. And of course, one thing I like to do here, I like to clean my edges on the paper like this. So it's nice to have clean edges. For presentation, you might want to use the paper to be shown when you frame it, if you want to frame your drawings, so you want to have something nice and clear. So always get used to keeping, the paper clean there. Okay, having done that, I'm going to go back to my soft line sharpener that I was using before, but this time I'm going to use a thinner stick. I don't need such a wide stick, so I'm going to go over the shadow area here in the foreground. There. Same thing here. And of course, these trees they have, if they are sycamores, they're going to have textures in their barks. Not all of them were sycamores, but some of them. So I like to add that. We have weeds. They grow along the banks, different places, like this. Of course, this is going to have shadows, like this. We have one big one that came out of from not even on site, but came up like this. And now we're going to start creating the background again. Some of the trees we might be seeing here, just to accentuate the white, the snow on the tree. We're going to do this. I'm going to darken this a little bit, make it a little bit thicker trunk. That way we can see a little bit better. Like that. I like to darken a little bit the edges, that way the eye is not going to go out like this, it's going to come back in. So that's nice to do that. And here also I'm going to make it a little bit darker, just to make it, just to create more textures, really make it feel like, we are looking into the woods. This was a beautiful, I did a lot of sketches and a lot of paintings here in this area. It was by a lake, beautiful area in Indiana. I really took advantage of it. Okay, so pretty much, believe it or not, we're getting our drawing done here. Since it's water, we're going to have some reflection from above, so we're going to put these reflections, and we see there, like this. Darken some of the edges better, just to show, give some movement to the creek. There it disappears. And that's pretty much it. Here we have our snow-covered creek. And this is sketch, right? Because we're talking about a sketch. It was done in real time, so it really doesn't take that long to cover all of this and create just a beautiful rendition of a creek. Maybe here we can put a little entrance like this. Maybe have some and here we have some shadows. So there you go. Now we have our beautiful snow-covered creek, and we are just going to lift a little bit of this, create some tones here, a little bit of lighter areas. Maybe if it's too light, we can just go with our fingers, start going around the shadow area. That way it makes them look like they're rounded. And if you get markings like this, leave them. All of them help to, create more texture. This tree here, for instance, I'm going to go over here with the eraser and you know, they have a little bit of snow on top of the branches. In some areas here, you're going to see a little bit of snow also. Maybe this branch here has snow. So all of this helps to create, you know, the illusion of uh, having these trees, you know, they're also being covered by snow, and a little few lines here and there just to give the idea that, you know, this also had a little bit of a snow. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed this. Give me a like if you did, and if you found it useful, and share it if you could. Oh, and one thing I'm going to do here, since this is going out of sight here, I'm just going to darken this a little bit more. There. There, that way the eye is not going to go all the way out. It will stay right in this area where we want, and it travels around. There. Well, my friends, till next time, and I hope you enjoyed some of this. Remember to check my channel for more good material there that's for you. I have created just for you, like I always said, because I do. You are in my mind, and I wanna really help you out. I know what it feels like to be a beginner, because I remember that when I was starting this, it was so confusing, especially when you were doing this outdoors, which that's what I did. So until next time, and happy drawing. And let's clean the edges. Good. There. Goodbye.